Let it loop. You can let it loop.
All right.
I'm just gonna loop. I really like this. It's gonna come with a sound. Welcome everybody. This is episode 12. This is not the Optimist Journal. That was Wendy Jones last time. This is the option, and Daddy is back. Along with Kris Johnson, I'm Jason DeBeers. I got KJ in the house. I got Miranda Tech in the show. What's good, people?
It's good to be here.
Cool, man. Miranda, come on. Yeah, I've got a camera for you. Don't be hiding. You're gonna be no hiding.
Shout out to Wendy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Let me tell you something. The Optimist Journal, she kind of inspired me because the Optimist Journal is something that I wanted to do a volleyball podcast, but I wanted to branch out. I just wanted to build the portfolio, and she's done a really good job. She had a sleep doctor on that. She's got, all kinds of people.
And I was working with her for a bit, and it's always a pleasure to work with her. Super positive. Love that.
Casey made the intro. Casey, Kerry was inspired by her, and Casey saw like some of my YouTube videos, and he's like, "Oh, that guy's got balls." So, and he said these two should meet, and that's how I met Wendy through him. And
that's sweet.
Yeah, man, it's really good stuff, dude.
No doubt.
Where'd you meet Wendy?
Shoot, where did I meet Wendy? I can't tell you exactly where I met Wendy because it was a little while ago, at least a few years ago, but.
She's everywhere too.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could have met her.
I probably just met her on the sand, but I know that she's always been the most positive person that I know. Every time that I talk to her, she's never down. She's always thinking positively. So I'm glad she came out with the Optimist Journal.
Yeah, man, and she could have been in your senior game for all you know. She's a power mom. She's got a kid at TCU right now. She got a kid for juniors and won nationals twice. He's going to Stanford. So she's one of those moms like, okay, if you want to do volleyball serves, do volleyball serves. And that's what they're doing.
You got to grind for it.
Trish Morris from Australia. What's up? Wow, that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah, we get around, CJ.
I like that.
Would you finished school at Cal Baptist?
Yeah.
Or was it at Park?
So I transferred in. I was at Long Beach City College and transferred to California Baptist in Riverside.
Okay.
We were making the transition from NCAA to D2.
Right.
So that was interesting,
to
say the least.
And then they got rid of their program, didn't they?
Yeah. They cut the program, I think, 2 or 3 years after I was out. I was overseas at the time, and I heard from all my teammates that they cut the program, and I was pretty disappointed about it.
I co-sign. I share your sentiment because so many great players have come in, and it was a volleyball program that moved the needle. Yeah. I'll refer to some players before you. Seydu. Yeah. Seydu. Shamsu. Who actually looks a lot like you. I don't know. If you've ever seen the both of them, if someone took Seydu and stretched them the long way, it would be Shamsu and you.
No doubt.
I think you're a little bit taller than he is. He's Seydu's skill set was tighter.
Yeah.
But offensively, he was more dynamic, I think.
Yeah. And on top of that, I think we were just in different positions as well. But I heard that he was a really good player, and I played with Levi Cabral and kept some Brazilian outside hitters, and they were absolutely ridiculous. That is like unstoppable.
Great program, man. And, I mean, it's weird because I thought the East was the first to suffer that. They started doing to some of the smaller schools. Yeah. East Stroudsburg University, Pennsylvania, had all the kids that didn't get into Penn State. So, and a lot of them filtered away to Juniata. Like I said, Roger Williams, school in Rhode Island was pretty good. Queens College in New York.
Yeah.
Carlito, Carl Pierre.
I think we might have played them.
Yeah. Carl Pierre, man. Great. Basically a bunch of Creole guys.
Yeah.
So you're more than familiar on that indoor scene.
It's just tougher. Yeah. Like, it's tougher for men's volleyball in general. And it seems like you have to be a really good player in order to get onto a program these days. Yeah. And it messes up kind of the crop for our national team as well. They don't really have people to pick from. Yeah. Yeah, because the national team always picks the best 12 people, right? Sure. we can go a whole other hour on who I think is more deserving and versus available positions and this and that. I guess you have a 14-person roster. That just means what? That you just need enough people to play each other. I think that's what they're alluding to. You got DeFalco that made the team.
he's a little raw, man. He's getting eaten up right now because sometimes, you know, when you're this college star and you're going to international scene, you find out right away like there are levels to this, and I hope he does well. I don't wish nothing bad.
Yeah,
you know.
He's been the guy though since he was, I don't know, 14 years old. He's got probably one of the heaviest arms in the country.
Yeah. So wrist integrity improved too. He's got a good little jump in on that go ball.
Yeah, we're talking about his IQ is astronomical for his age.
Yep.
So I think he's gonna figure it out without question.
Yep. Yeah, and then from that point, the process is really more about react attack because you have to divide knowing the game and paralysis through analysis.
Yeah.
You know what that is? Paralysis through analysis.
Too many choices. So then you don't.
I mean, the way you've been coached up in the beach, you have to know what paralysis through analysis is.
You got
everyone got an opinion. Everybody trying to feed you information, and you know, your humility and trying to learn the game. You trying to take it all in, but damn, it's just like. You first.
Yeah,
you second.
It was definitely a year of trying to take in different information and kind of seeing what worked, kind of seeing what I could apply now, and maybe I couldn't apply what was told to me now. Maybe I need to apply it later. So that was always an interesting thing to deal with. Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. We're gonna jump back in indoor in a minute, but since we already touched on the beach and my camera just went out and then went back in, there it is. What's one of the easy? Because one of the fans asked this question. What's one of the easiest things, skill set wise, that was easy that translated right away from indoor to the beach?
My offense. Like, if anybody's seen me play, like, you know that my offense is something that I've had since I was in college.
Right.
So when I was in college, I was one of the better offensive players in the country, and as I went pro and went to the national team, my offense was my thing. And when I walked on the beach, it was something that translated like directly.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely. For me, from what I saw, just looking on the outside in, I've been coaching this game too. I'm not even going to name years anymore. It's just too fucking long, you know? It's like someone working at this company and everyone gets promoted past her. It's like, so how long have you ever been here? And she just goes, okay. For me, the serve to space, the jump serve, I thought that translated right away. And some of these guys who are used to seeing heavy top spin or like wind ball serves, but not used to that downward spiral, like what do you call it? Just comes down like first of all, it comes down like a ton of bricks. Second, the speed on the serve to space. Indoor, I mean, because of the jump serve, they went from 2 passes to 3 to 4. I saw UCLA and Long Beach State using a 4-passer system now. Because if you're not in that, if you're not facing your platform or your timing wise, that split second, you're not there.
You're definitely getting A. So that's a tough part.
Yeah. But you're streaky, and I think you're streaky in that. Like I saw you at the Hermosa Beach Open, not the AVP one, but the Memorial Day one, and you needed to catch up. And I think it was the Cervantes. Yeah, just whoosh, whoosh, and everybody just started laughing.
They're a really quality team, and I've definitely been streaky with my serving. So that was a tough thing to kind of come through this year, especially because I was like, there were times when I needed to have it and I didn't have it the way that I wanted to. And I'm somebody who doesn't want to even waste my time jump serving if I'm going to roll the ball into the court.
No, because at the higher the level you play, the more that's equivalent to just a side out. Exactly. Not only that, you gave them a rep that gives them momentum and confidence in the play where if you just miss, they're exhaling.
Exactly. So that was a tough part. But the offense definitely translated. I mean, learning shots was pretty hard, but the swinging was extremely comfortable.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, dude. Do you have Kris Johnson? Anything on YouTube? Just look up Kris Johnson, whatever. Just pull it up for me.
Sure, there's plenty.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
How about the block? Did that translate a little well, or did you have to go from like lanes? Filling the whole swing blocking, like team blocking, as opposed to just having a little bit of going after the head a little bit more.
The blocking was tougher because I had to go from just closing to somebody as a middle blocker to now basically being the pin blocker and partially the middle blocker. Yeah. So that was a huge transition. And then also deciding exactly how I'm going to block against certain hitters. Am I going to be going more over the net because they like to swing more? Am I going to be more patient because they like to shoot a lot and I need to get touches, redirect throws? So that was
big challenge, huh?
Exactly. I think I would say in between passing and blocking were the biggest challenges. I think passing was hands down the biggest challenge. Yeah. For sure.
You made a late transition from middle oppo too, which probably helped a little bit.
I never even played oppo. I played middle from 14 years old at Lakewood High School all the way through to the national team and pro. Like I never played opposite unless they kind of wanted me to play in practice.
Right.
But it was straight middle blocker, and then I have to learn how to pass now.
Yeah. That was when Greg Faulkner talked to him. That was one of his challenges coming in and out. And he and I've been working together a little bit because I'm actually contemplating unretiring from the sport, and he's between him and Kevin McCulloch, they're very good partner choices because it's someone where I don't have to worry about my partner.
Yeah.
And as far as like these partnerships where one person, like there's no such thing as a 50-50 partnership when it comes to control. There's always one person that's gonna
For sure.
that's going to
For sure. For sure. There's never two guys.
Yeah, and Greg is very interchangeable. Yeah. Where if he needs to take the initiative or give up control, say, all right, you take the wheel on this one. Yeah. Very good partner to have. So between now and December, physically, if I'm all right, then I'll play. If I'm not, I won't. I'm 50 next year. So there's just these nagging injuries that years and years of indoor volleyball. I played indoor for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know.
You played indoor for 30?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's
It's brutal.
It is.
I was in for 14 and I'm like, I don't think I'm going back in.
No. I think honestly it's just about finding things that you enjoy on the beach where like some people from indoor where they get to do it, they get to do things really well indoor they can't do on the beach. They're just like, forget this beach stuff. Yeah. But I didn't think that was a problem with you because offense. Which is the slowest thing for indoor players that transcend to the beach was the fastest. Yeah. So you Miranda, he's like the first person I ever heard that said to the first person that asked this question that said offense. So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's super surprising.
Yeah. I mean, you got Riley Simon, right? You got Riley Simon like tape monstering every shot, like in the game. He's probably like, forget this beach stuff. Reed Pretty, of course, elite athlete. He translated right away. They made him hit the reset button, but I guess the cream rises to the top, right? Just play with different partners, and here he is.
I'm happy that he's doing it because I remember just being the national team with him for a few years, and he's somebody who wants to make sure that everything's correct. Yeah, he wants it perfect. He's super deliberate. So for me to see him successful on the beach is exciting.
Yep. Well, I also think that was a Hugh McCutcheon challenge to him. Yeah. Like if you want to be an outside hitter, you have to be interchangeable in certain systems. In my experience as a player and a coach, I noticed that every gold medal winning team, and I'm only using the biggest stage, the Olympics, because it'd be too all over the place.
It'd be too broad, right?
The best tandem of outside hitters is one guy who's the best ball control guy on the court, and the other guy who's more offensively explosive. If don't know how old you are, you go back as far back as Jiba and Dante. Jiba could lead the offense, but that wasn't his role. His role, best passer, ball control. Dante, running the back real quick. Actually, it's revolutionized. Right? Think about it. They took that idea from the Americans and just freaking ran away from it. Man. Riley Simon and Reed Pretty. So Reed knew that was his role, which is why I thought Matt Anderson and Pretty didn't work out that much for 2012. They were both OHs and they were both mentally prepared to power through. Yeah. Where like Matt Anderson is an oppo, and you got Taylor Sander, and I thought Taylor Sander and Reed Pretty were really good. I didn't love, and I'm gonna sound like I'm crapping on this dude because you know where I'm going, right? Aaron Russell, right? Yeah. Come on, man. I mean, he belongs on the team, yes, but does he belong on the team in these situations where they're playing Italy, in the semifinals, winner goes to the gold medal match, and then you have Reed Pretty, who's on the bench, who in his last 6 matches was 5-1 against Italy, and I'm like, why? And then, up 24-22, he shanks the ball, and then there's another ball that's going out. He touches. The refs don't see it. The Italians lose their mind. Yeah. It was the longest yellow card, not yellow card I've ever seen. It was like, you ever see 300 Spartans, like they all run together?
Yeah.
6 guys run into the top ref. All 6 guys run into the line judge. All 6 guys run into the down judge. It was the longest not yellow card I've ever seen.
Very reminiscent of how volleyball is. Everybody is running over similar to 6 men.
Yeah, and they got it. Yeah, right?
Your entire 40-man team and 6 man's running over to the ref.
He's at the net. I'm just going to do a video. Oh, damn, we're doing a fast movie. Benny Hill show.
We'll get back to
that. Yeah, so, and then they get the call, right? And then match point, set point. This is set one. Set 1, he gets aced.
Yeah.
And then set 5, he hits a ball like in the air. And it's like a pop-up block, and I know in his heart of hearts that motherfucker knew it was in. He knew it was in. Libero, he got head fake because he did this, like he's gonna go for the ball, so the libero didn't go. Anyone behind him, he like bracketed off and clung to Hope. And we both know Hope is in game 5. Hope is a 5-letter word. Yeah. And as a general rule, if you don't know if it's in or out, you do what?
You gotta play it. You play anything that's close. Yeah. That's a big thing that I actually learned playing beach. You got to play everything that's close. So many balls that you watch, they end up hitting the line or something happens late. It's like anything that's close should be played.
I'll go even one further. Even if in the middle of your play you know it's out or think it's out, follow through, pass all the way, because if you do one of these, what's going to happen? You're going to be missing and be like and making excuses. Oh, that ball was out. No, it was not. You know, so
no doubt. But I think it's always interesting. Like when I was overseas, there was always that dynamic with the outside hitters. It was a dynamic, like it was an outside hitter who could pass really well, and there was an outside hitter who can crush offensively.
All right. So Miranda, there's a button on the other side. Just press it, and it goes back to that. There it is. I'm on demo mode for right now. All right, now press record. Is it recording? Press record. There. It'll stay like that. For me, for the way the cameras are stayed, instead of shoot out of demo mode, if you press record, it's 7 hours each on the file, so I'm good. We can go all day. Perfect. Steve Rochette said 1 speed. Who was talking about the jump serve? Steve Rochette. You know Steve, right? Canoli's partner.
Yeah.
Texas. Hey, a lot of people viewing. Carlos Semino from Brazil. What's up? Garrett Roberts. Don't know where you're from. What's up? Jeremy Carlin was like, Joey Diassis from Staten Island, New York. What's up?
Oh, you got people from everywhere around here.
My mommy from Japan. What's up?
Australia, Brazil, Japan. You got everybody out here.
They're all interested. Everybody's like, who is KJ? So Wendy and I had a discussion Wednesday about the NCAA, the pay for play rule. For those of you that missed the last episode, just a little brief synopsis on what pay for play is. Pay for play is not the NCAA paying the players to play. Pay for play is giving players an entrepreneurial opportunity to profit from their likeness. Yeah. Right? Yeah. They make a volleyball video game, college, right? Chris Johnson, KJ, got you in the middle. They got your name in the video game. Yeah. Give you a 2%, residuals or whatever.
Like that. Yeah. For me, I like it. Like, if you're in college, especially when you're in college, you are usually in one of the worst financial situations. I know. Like, I was in college for a while, and I had to work a bunch in order to make sure that I could drive my car and have things paid for. So if somebody wants to sponsor you and they can put some money in your pocket so you can go and make sure your bills are paid, you can go and eat. Yeah. Because that's a problem that you hear with anybody anyway. They're like, I'm in college, I'm having problems paying my rent, or I'm in college, I'm having problems making sure that I can eat and get to where I need to go to and buy the books and everything. So if you got that opportunity, then do it. I mean, and on top of that, every sport isn't getting full scholarships. Everybody's not getting full scholarships. So
no, it's 4.5.
Yeah.
They're the bastard children of NCAA. 4.5 scholarships, dude.
Yeah.
How the hell do you slice that bar?
Yeah, if you're trying to slice that among like 12, 15 players, it doesn't really work. Yeah. And then other sports have obviously more or less scholarships based on their situation, but
right. I support it for threefold. Yeah. And I'm gonna do the best I can to not go off on some Stephen A. Smith type. Like, what? You telling me I'm getting paid just to talk about this guy? I'm making money on ESPN talking about him. He can't get no money. He can't get no money. So, no, I ain't going to do that. Even though I just did. Reason number one, if they're citing as a pretext that they're trying to protect the kids from being exploited or whatever, then that's a failed argument, because the fact is they made the rule. I'm gonna tell you, fact isn't what truth is. The fact is they made the rule to protect people from being exploited. That's a fact. The truth is they're being exploited anyway.
The truth is that the system was kind of built for that. I mean, we're talking about at what age, 12 or 13, if you're good at a sport, people are already pumping your way and you have no idea what's going on. Like, imagine the whole club sports. It's that same way where sponsors and everybody are pushing into you. You're 15 years old. They're like, so you're going to the NBA at 19. They're already trying to talk to you about that or any other sport.
Which leads me to my second point. These kids are graduating college. This is this is your generation that's bringing up the rear from millennials that are doing everything so right. I think you guys are becoming immune to old age. You watch, when everybody else is dying, he's gonna be like 80. Like, come on, let's play. You think you can beat me? Come on.
I'm good.
So my second point is, these kids come out of college. They expect kids to have the degree and experience.
Yeah.
So allowing these kids to entrepreneur themselves and understand the business side and how to handle themselves. Yeah. I think they should spend that money guiding these kids on how to, instead of protecting them. Yeah. And show them, and if you want to really protect them, show them how. Yeah. That's my second point. The third part is, I think if it's government involvement, there's a huge hypocrisy as far as cherry picking is concerned. Yeah. You are not there to protect kids that don't know better. And I brought this up last episode. I said, Wendy Jones, I said, I got a question for you, because Wendy and I are on opposite sides of the argument, healthily. I have a question for you. How old are you allowed, at what age are you allowed to join the Army?
18.
18, right? Some parental permission, 16. Mm-hmm. They're not thinking about the protecting the kids. They're basically sending kids who can be in harm's way. So I think they're cherry picking as far as protecting the interest of whatever. They're
picking and choosing, right?
To what end? Yeah, they're picking and choosing. And I think, why don't we get to pick and choose? And why are they putting us in a position why we look like we're working for the government? No, we voted for these people. We elected them. They strict reminder, these people are supposed to be working for us. Yeah. For our interests, protecting our interests, but also protecting should not prevent you from quality of life.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's what exactly we're protecting.
I was up and down with that. That's the best way I know how to say that. Yeah. You agree though?
For sure.
I think the NCAA, the rules also help smaller schools. How about D2 and D3 programs that don't get to offer full rides? How about D3 that doesn't get to offer any athletic scholarships, but still has to abide by the same freaking rule? Yeah. Oh no, your D3 is supposed to just play for fun.
Yeah. The funny part is it'd be better to go NAIA.
Yeah.
At least you can get a scholarship at NAIA level.
Yeah, tell us about that. Educate me on that.
I know that you can get scholarships. I don't know if there are more or less. There might be a little bit more than NCAA, but with the NAIA scholarships, you can actually do some weird things. Like you can stop your clock and stuff if you don't take 12 units, so you can extend your time while in school. It's really interesting. And I only got a little piece of it just because we were already in the transition to D2 when I went to CBU. But I know that
that's how CDU got to play at like 25 or 26.
Exactly. You can play at any age, and the rules they're less stringent on foreigners coming into play as well, which is why it's harder to get foreigners into NCAA.
Yeah. Well, I think volleyball is a joke in that respect, because foreign players were not an issue until like MPSF started losing. Yeah. NCAA is like, oh, Penn State, what the hell are they doing? Oh, they use a foreign player. Ohio State, that guy from France. And I don't, again, we're going to talk about hypocrisy, right? Stetson beat USC. First round. Remember NCAA? I don't know if you heard about that. Everyone was like, oh my God, check the forecast in hell. It just froze over. Yeah. Oh my God, it's because they had players from Brazil. And I'm like, I got a question for you. And I said this last episode. I said, here's my question. Who is the best player on your team? Oh, Tina Gradina. Where's she from? Latvia. Just sit down and shut up. Lose my number. Lose my number, dude.
That doesn't make any sense.
Lose my number.
You're mad because they have more foreigners than you? Like,
yeah, exactly. Why are you gonna move the bar now? As far as like what your criteria was?
Are you saying your entire team is U.S. born, or what do we?
Yeah, UCLA. Who's their best team? Who's their pair one team? Well, the best player was Sarah Sponsor. I don't know where she's from, but the McNamara's.
Yeah, the Canadians. Right?
Yeah, UCLA indoor men's team. Who was their best offensive player?
What was that?
That freaking middle, right?
Oh yeah.
And where's he from? Say it with me.
Kofi.
Yes.
Kofi? Yeah.
Say it with me. Where's he from?
He's from Canada. That guy's a baller, though. He's a high flyer.
He is.
No doubt.
Skill set, he's a little bit more dynamic than a lot of middles, too, you know?
Oh, yeah. I think he's definitely the future of Canada. He's going to be tough to deal with once he really gets on the international scene.
Problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem. Where'd you play internationally?
I played 2 years in Finland, 1 year in Portugal, and 1 year in Romania.
Okay.
And then we played a bunch of international competitions. So I was
Did I ask you that?
a lot.
I had Lucas Yoder. He was in Finland too. I said, did they make you wear the short shorts? And he's like, no. And I was like, shit, okay. That was just back in my day. I have a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
I just kept because I couldn't throw it out. I had, so it's like one of those museum things.
Actually, I think I might have worn some short shorts. Yeah. If you look it up, you find me. I might have been wearing some shorter shorts on Lake Avali in Finland. It was an interesting situation, but I always wear compressions though, so you're not seeing any legs.
No. Yeah, and that's what I did. Yes, short shorts, man. Germany, my shorts were yellow. Yellow shorts with blue and red and white stripes. They were the ugliest thing.
What type of color scheme is that?
It was the ugliest thing. Is Darmstadt. I played in Germany.
Okay, I got you on that.
The 4-2-1, the D1 thing, the demons, if you will.
No doubt.
But I'm older, so I was wondering if where the Americans started going longer shorts, and now the NBA is just going regular shorts.
Yeah,
they were just past your knees. Did Europe stay the same? Did Romania stay the same? What's that situation there? I'm talking about shorts on the podcast. What's up, people?
My shorts were always shorter than I like them to be. Period. So I'm very much like my style is very basketball. So the shorts that are coming up like close to mid thigh, I'm usually not happy about it. At the national team, I wore some pretty short shorts. So. I was doing whatever I could to get them a little bit longer if it was possible. Yeah. But I was in some shorts that were unfavorable.
You got there. Miranda, what you looking at? Miranda, what you looking at?
Says Kris Johnson match.
Show us.
USA versus Japan.
Show us a little bit. Come on, let me see. Yeah, that's one of the things that keeps them alive. They have a lefty too. It's called someone, I forgot who told me. Someone told me like a week ago. I was like, Japan? Yeah, really?
Yeah. Japan has a really good outside hitter, but I don't know anything about the lefty.
It's like the last time they even beat the U.S. was 1992, and that was because the Olympic Committee voted and gave it to them. I was at that game.
Really?
Yeah, it was 1992. I was in Germany doing an end around. With the Italian army. I was in the United States Army at the time.
No doubt.
And wound up in Barcelona. And what happened was Brian Ivey, ex-Trojan, got hurt just wiping the floor because they used to carry these towels.
Yeah.
Like, behind their shorts and just wipe the floor.
Yeah.
And he's wiping the floor and just went down. It was just the most bizarre injury. Holding his knee. And it was just like, what the hell happened? So then Bob Samuelson, you see him coach club a little bit. Short, bald head, no eyebrows. He came in as a super sub and set 4, got a red card, and then the end of set 4, Japan's up 2-1. The end of set 4 is 13 up, and Norichi Nagagaichi hit a ball. The line judge called out, and the top ref called in, and he just cussed out the ref.
Yeah.
Ref gave him a second yellow, which under the rules is a point.
Is that right?
So Nagagaichi on trans got 14, and the 2 yellows and the red should have gave him the match.
Exactly.
But the referees thought it was a different set, so they let it ride. And the U.S. came back and won. They won that fourth set, and they won the match.
Yeah.
Steve Timmons, a great match. Timmons had 50 kills. This is side out, so you could trade up all day so people rack up 40 and 50s.
That's insane.
Nagagaichi, 51 kills. Steve Timmons, 50 kills. 16-14, Bob Stavertley used the block. A day later, they voted 18-0, about the execution of the rule. 18-0 for Japan, so to get Japan to win. So USA came back, and so but here's the cool thing. And I found this out later when I went back to the garrison in Germany.
Yeah.
AFN Armed Forces Network was showing the game, and I was like, wow, cool. Jeff Stork shaved his head. Well, cool. Wow, Bob Stavertley shaved his head. And then they showed the shot of the whole team. I said, the whole damn team's bald. So basically to show support for Bob.
Yeah.
Who can't grow hair. They all, and Steve Timmons had the spike hair just right up the middle.
They all they cut it all off.
Yeah, so they won every single match all the way to the semifinals, and subsequently losing to Brazil, who won the whole thing.
Yeah.
Beat Cuba for the bronze, and Cuba had always has a good high jump. The team there was respectable.
Cuba has some of the best players on the planet, man. It's insane how they produce it.
Yeah, we were talking about serve to space too, right? They got 3 guys on that team that are game changers. Cuba, there is just.
I mean, we can talk about the current guys right now. I don't understand how they can continue to have like people defect and still be extremely competitive, because people leave Cuba all the time. Yeah, like the players leave, they go to other countries. Yeah, Juan Terena, Simone. I mean, Leao. Was it Leao?
Yeah, Leao.
Yeah, Leao, Leon, like top players on the planet. Come from Cuba, going to another country, and now they're in that country playing on their national team.
Wait, you mean I get to do this for a living?
Exactly. So it's nuts. And then Cuba, they have so many people who defect, but then Cuba still puts up a really good team every year. Yeah. That's super competitive, crushes, high flies, and they make it happen.
And I'm happy about that, because for years they wouldn't let them do that.
Yeah.
Cuba won the gold in 1992, right? Cuba, again, repeat champs, won in 1996, and probably an even better team they had in 1992. Mario Luis was like one of their best players. Yeah. And then Castro promised that they can contract and play. Japan had the top women's league. For the men, it was Italy.
Yeah.
And basically Castro reneged and said, no, you can't do it. So it happened in 2000 Olympics. You know what happened? They lost straight sets.
Yeah.
Second match, lost straight sets, and then somewhere in the middle he doubled back and said no, you guys can do it, and then they won the next 3 matches in pool so they could get into the playoffs. So they came in as the last seed, played the U.S. team, who was the first seed, whooped the U.S. because Cuba shouldn't have been the last seed.
Of course.
So first round whooped him 3-0, and eventually won the gold. So they're the one of 2 3-peat champions for gold medal for volleyball, with Kerry Walsh and Misty May being the other one. It's good, right? Good to have that American representation. She was there today. Wasn't that cool?
I saw her. She was looking good and playing good too.
Oh my gosh, she was great. Oh shoot, man. She is. The question for me is not is she ready for 2020, or who is Kerry Walsh for 2020. The question for me is who's Brooke? Who's Brooke Sweat? You know, we as players, we're fair.
Yeah.
We might be a little hard, but we got to be fair too. So is Brooke the one that's going to stay in system? Is Brooke the one on serve receive? Is she going to hold her platform to allow some kind of option, on 2, or hold her platform where she could see the progressions? Because sometimes under pressure, she reverts to a technique that makes her serve receive a little bit worse. And I heard the coaches talking, the Portuguese and this and that. Yeah. But the match that they just lost, the German team they played, you watched a little bit of it?
I think I saw maybe the back end of it,
Because the 2 things she could have done was, 1, she got a lot of the serves was just hold her platform. Because that's like a hard wall. If you learn that, it's like hard wall, padded wall.
Yeah.
Like like hard wall, you bounce the ball against a hard wall, it goes up and it stays up. Where a padded wall, it might do it, but it might do something else.
Exactly.
So the way she's passing, it might stay up, but it might do something else. Or if she just does that little half-second hold at the end, now Carrie can see. Not only can the hitter see it, but Carrie can see it now. Option and then her bump pass, because Carrie doesn't use her hands a lot, but it, cleans up her bump set. That's the one thing that could have done better. The other thing is Germany had a lefty that I thought was right shoulder weak, serving zone 1. And they kept serving her middle, like they were serving righty, and they were just serving high deep on her right. Yeah. Every time they did that, she just faced her platform, and boom, platform's facing the net. Where every time I noticed, and I'm lefty, and lefties have this problem worse than righties. John Mayer has this problem, or had this problem. Ed Ratledge has this problem, where when every time they go right shoulder, they do this. They don't face, they do this. Yeah. So now, if you look at both forearms,
as you
they're
see,
up where the ball pops up, where the out of system got to be brought back in, or maybe even
it's either for, especially if your platform is extended this way, you're either going to have a ball that's going to go straight up or it's going to go behind you. Or
maybe even an ace too, depending.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where I noticed that one was right shoulder weak, and I thought, when you start losing these matches 15-13, set 3, that you always think about what's one thing we could have done better. Because if it's 15-13, just face it, you're evenly matched. Either that, or you're just having a really bad day and they're having a game of their lives, and you got some help from the rest.
Exactly.
Which happens, but you always want to look at one or two things that you control more than the other team. And I think in system setting, you can control. Your settings got significantly better, by the way.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if this is a racial thing, but when a black man raises his hands, like, who's a middle, and then do a middle, the referee is like,
"Oh, I already know."
Right? He ready to blow that whistle, boy. Yeah, indoor too. Every time you put up your hands, right? I mean, there are setters that chuck balls worse than you that the refs don't call, but they see a middle just to remind you they're still up there.
It's all different. I mean, I was getting called a lot when I first got on the sand, and I had to stick heavily with my hands, and it was tough. I mean, Kris was on me about it 24/7.
Good.
He was like, just use your hands, like, you're gonna improve. And I started using my hands more. I started getting a lot better, but then I'd still receive some pretty phantom calls, which was insane. And that's the tough part about beach volleyball. 1, hand setting is super subjective, and 2, almost 90-95% of the time you're getting reffed by your peers. So it's
definitely a regional thing.
There's no continuity with it, so it messes everything up, and it's tough, but you got to work as hard as you can to continue to improve it and go with it.
Also, you adjusting to regional errors on how they conduct their rules on volleyball are different. I'll give you an example, like CBVA, right? They have a rule that says it is illegal for you to receive serve overhead with an overhead set. Now, even under the old school rules, it's never been against the rules. It's just nobody dared take a ball with their hands because they thought no way it wasn't going to be called a carrier or whatever. So the actual real rule is receiving serve overhead is not against the rules. It's just illegal to double it. It's illegal to carry it. Digging a ball that's not hard driven with your hands it's not illegal. It's only illegal to double it. It's only illegal for I mean, because if they do it and they blow the whistle, they got to give you a call. And you know what? It better be good. It better be good. So, but CBVA circumvented their own rule and just said, hey, no, anything that's overhead, maybe it's just easier to ref.
That's the funny part, because that was
a regional rule that they made up.
I haven't been called for it, because that's the thing. It happens. Like, you have the high serve, and like you can't physically get a platform on it. So you'll do the fisting, or you'll do the prayer, or something like that, or the hands kind of come together like this. So on the service, even I haven't been called for it. It's like, if the hands are together, like, they don't call it, even if it's overhand.
Even if it could be like this, and as long as they're together.
For sure. Like, because otherwise, if they're apart, then they're like, no, that's illegal. It's like a catch. You can't overhand set, basically. But anything else, even if it's close, I've seen people, like, hands weren't quite together, but if it was over like this,
like where one's in front of the other,
it wasn't called. So that's an interesting rule.
It is. And as you continue to travel, because you travel a little bit, you're going to notice that hands are called a little bit differently, in the sense that a lot of international refs, they will call spin if you dish it, but they won't call spin if you don't.
Yeah.
Like if you have a fast release, they're forgiving on whatever someone's unfounded, rule is on spin.
It was interesting. We were in Canada. We were at the Vancouver Open.
Yeah.
And they were kind of letting chucks go. It was interesting how much they let the ball spin.
Yeah.
But if it came out fast and like the hands were clean, then it was rare that they were going to call a double. Yeah. They wanted it out fast. So the rules are definitely different wherever you're at, and you got to go talk to the refs.
Agreed. And that is because of the magic question I asked a guy, Jesse Webster from Hermosa Beach Volleyball Club. He's south of the pier. I'm north. We're in the summer. Do you think a ref calls a double how it comes out or how it comes in? And he said it's how it comes out, and I said that is incorrect. Almost any international or if any high level calls a double how it comes in. You will never see a ref call a double on you waiting to see how it comes out and seeing the spin, unless depending on the region. As soon as it comes out of your hands, they're blowing the whistle. Yeah. They didn't even wait for the spin. Yeah. So a carry, a lift is how it comes in and out. And so I think a lot of people need to either get on, maybe us collectively need to get on board with how refs are calling it, or the refs get together and be a little bit more than implicit about that. And then you can play volleyball. You get to do your job.
It's the rules, but I feel like even it's just so subjective. Like there's not one way. Every ref will say something different to you. Okay. And that's the problem. It's like, well, I don't want it dropping below the head, or I want it to come, as soon as it comes in, it has to come out.
Right.
So refs are telling you different things, and it's so tough to deal with at times. And I'm like, there should definitely be one uniform way.
Yeah.
But also
understand the regions too.
Yeah, but also understanding the fact that every single beach volleyball player would also need to know that rule too, because most of the time they're reffing you, not a referee. Unless you're playing at the highest level tournaments, then you're not getting a real ref anyway. Right.
Had Dave Carson on my podcast. He's the one ref that decided to come on and stand tall.
No doubt.
Answer all these questions. He didn't come in studio. He's coaching in New Hampshire, so it's their non-traditional season or whatever. Yeah. And I've always liked him, but I have a new respect for him because a lot of these guys, they just make. I'm sounding like I'm dissing refs now. They just make the call and hide. No, he stood tall. He says, before we go any further, this is me. And it's not the consensus of all refs. This is just how I do it, based on dialogue, healthy debate that him and other refs have. So Connecticut, like I played a grass tournament, and they're like, the ball's not allowed to spin 1.25 times a second, and that's the rule that they wrote. Yeah, because they wrote in, because again, that's not, you won't find spin in any fucking rule. You just won't. No, but my question is, here's my question, right? Because I had a guy, Flacco, played for Balmesa, because I sat for them for a little bit. I never went to nationals because I was in school. I was in college when they went to nationals. The 2 times they won 2 years in a row.
No doubt.
So I was my boy's a middle. So every time he dug like a cut, he just came in for a 1 or like a push 1. Yeah. And I'm just boom. He hits it. I'm like, they calling a double. I'm like, but that didn't spin a whole time. Yeah. There's a 1 ball. He didn't, your rule says it's supposed to go a whole time around. Some people don't say a second. Just it's not allowed to turn a whole time or 1.25 times. But I'm like, that ball didn't turn a whole time around. So what's your rule?
Yeah.
Are you doing on predictability that it was going to?
Yeah.
What's
That's the tough part. It's like a predetermined, like, oh, when it leaves a hand, I'm calling a double sometimes, and that's even tougher. And I've heard people say, oh, the ball spun 1 time, or the ball spun 1.5 or 2 times or something like that.
And you're like, look at this ball. I'm going to spin the ball. I'm like, you realize how fast this ball has to spin the whole time? You're like, that ball didn't spin that fast.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Look at Miranda looking at you like, forearm setter. Come on, I got to see that face. She looks scared. Who gave you permission to be scared? So we're in a subject of travel, and that's one of the questions I wanted to bring up. One of the more indoor or beach, some of the more interesting places you've traveled.
Always taking a trip to Canada has been fun for me. So
he's like, a place where everybody speaks English. I'm good.
It was just nice. Like, all the Canadians are always nice to us, no matter what, and they've always been gracious hosts. I played in the 2015 Pan Am Games with the indoor U.S. national team in Toronto, Canada, and then to play in Vancouver this past summer. So I got to play in both places, and Canada's always a good place to go. We played against Galatasaray, I think that's what we call it, Galatasaray, in Istanbul, Turkey. I liked it a lot out there.
Okay.
And maybe Lisbon, Portugal.
Portugal's nice.
Malaga, Spain. So I've been to some like nice bigger cities that I enjoyed a lot, without question, and I can't complain.
No, cool. Any interesting stories? Stolen luggage? Somebody wanted to take a picture with you because they thought you were someone else. He said, "Damn, did Miranda tell you that?" I'm on to something.
I don't know. I don't feel like I have any super interesting stories.
You don't put yourself in harm's way. Good for you.
I really don't.
No.
If you know me, I'm pretty low key, and I don't do too much. I don't know. I think probably just a scary moment was me like riding down. I basically rode down like the side of a ski, whatever. It was at the top of like a ski resort, and I rode all the way down to the bottom. It was like probably the scariest thing I ever did, because I could have like jumped off and fell like a good 30 or 40 feet into something. So
that makes you develop a natural fear of heights. Like, I never thought about heights before. Until now.
Exactly. So that was a little bit of a scary story. I did that in Finland, but it was a lot of fun. I ended up working out and get hurt, but yeah, I wouldn't play any more games like that anymore. I'm gonna try to stay off any frozen snow. It's not safe.
No. Well, I have two fears on heights. Extreme heights. I can stand on a ladder, but on clowns. Okay. Which is a stupid problem. It's claustrophobia. It's a stupid problem to have.
Can't watch the movie yet, huh? Nope,
can't watch Stephen King's It. Can't go to certain Halloween parties. Yeah. You know, I went to sing karaoke at Hennessy's. Someone was full blown. I got halfway in. It's just
I got to get out. Yeah.
Everyone's telling Greg texted me. Yo, where'd you go? Where'd you go? I was like, there's a clown. He goes, oh, okay. You know, I was coaching north of the pier, and there was a mime who was almost full blown clown. And I looked at him. I just go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then one of my players, she's 16, Alexa, and the best Kelly voice, my wife, she sounded just like her when she says, "Wait a minute, you're afraid of clowns."
Oh, no.
And the way she said it, like everyone.
You say it so everybody can hear it, and it makes it just so much worse. Now everybody's going to try to do everything.
Oh, my God. I don't need no solution, man. I just need him to be somewhere else. I don't need no medication. You want a drug? How about give me a sleeping pill? No, come on, man. Help me. Help me help you.
I feel you on that.
Yes, Gigi from Virginia. Gigi's my kid sister. She's Afghan vet. She did 2 tours in Afghanistan.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mary Beth. Yeah, every male member of our family served. She's the first girl.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a Gulf. I served 3 years Gulf War, but my father, Vietnam, Air Force, grandfather, mother's side, Korean War, father's side, World War II. So Navy. So we all lived. We all got that.
Yeah, that's big time.
We're gonna talk about stories to tell.
Yeah, I'm like, you're talking about some real deal danger.
Honestly, if you were lucky enough or are lucky enough to serve during peacetime, which I basically was, like I joined when they invaded Kuwait, Iraq invaded Kuwait. Yeah. I joined, and then by the time I got out of boot camp in AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training, I was a generator mechanic. Yeah. 2 weeks before we graduate, AIT is a ceasefire. So
that's
and
nice.
then just before when I was leaving the army, Somalia, the whole thing with Somalia heated up. So I was between wars. Yeah. So honestly, the funnest stories when you're in peacetime they're not even gonna be at your duty station. You're gonna be in boot camp. Just everyone adjusting to this
rugged lifestyle,
this new life. Yeah. All right, fuck it. We're here, right? I'm gonna tell you one. You'll like this one. I promise you. So, so they found out I'm from New York. Yeah. Right. So what they do when they find out you're from New York, they don't look for you to punish you. They make you a squad leader, and they assign certain people. These guys are under your care in the squad. So every time they fuck up, they're like, "Who's your squad leader?"
They come down on you.
Who's your squad leader? So that was the best way for them to mess with me. So they made me a squad leader. So I had one guy who carries the flag. So morning time you take it out. Don't put it out. Nighttime, you bring it in. You don't leave it outside. So he left it out. And he left it outside. And it was raining as well. So someone's like, yo, he's like, Debilius, they call me DB. He said, DB, Joe Star, I want to see you. And I'm like, okay.
What's going on?
So I'm coming in. I'm like, Joe Star and Jason DeBiss reporting his order. And he goes, Debilius, Kentucky dude. So he didn't yell at me.
Yeah.
He smiled at me. He goes, why don't you sit down? So I'm sitting down. I sit like this.
Yeah.
The same way Miles Partain does a fucking interview.
That's my guy.
So yeah, right. Hey, I did an interview with him. He had I remember I told you I had to list 2 kids to stand on his left and his right. Yeah. They were standing like they were strapped. So I just sat and he's like, relax. How you doing? I'm like, okay, Joe Sargent. And he's like, do you want something to drink?
Yeah.
Sure. Right? So he gives me a drink and you want a Coke? And I wanted a Diet Coke, but I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take the Coke.
Yeah, I'll take whatever you got.
So he's like, do you miss home? I said a little bit. He says, you got a girlfriend at home? I said, yes. And he says, you think you're gonna marry her? I said, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sure. So he's like, hey, training's going good. Keep your head up. You'll be all right. By the way, where the fuck is the guy? He yelled so loud. The chair I was in, I pushed back, fell down, backward roll, landed on my feet, ran out, and I could still hear him yelling, "Your house is grass, boy, and I'm gonna smoke it." Where the fuck is the guy now? Oh my God. So I go back to the barracks, and to give you an old school film perspective of what barracks look like, there's a whole bunch of beds lined up with each other, next to each other. So it's dark, and so I go back, I get the flag, and I'm soaking wet on my army gray sweats. I'm soaking wet, and and all you can see are eyes. Like everyone looking in the bed, just eyes looking out of their bed just to see who's coming in the room, and it's me. And I was just like, thanks a lot, dude. Thanks, man. Thanks. And then I sit there and I'm soaking wet in my bed, and you can hear one guy go.
Some guy was laughing.
And then someone else started laughing. The whole fucking room started laughing, and I was just like, okay, y'all got me. Oh shoot. But that's let's just call that a fun boot camp story.
I would have been so mad. Gotta come down on somebody.
When you played for Cal Baptist, where was one of the more interesting places you went to?
2 places stand out right off the top of my head. Playing at Penn State. Yeah. We didn't get to play against Penn State. I think we played Ohio State. But playing at Penn State, going to...
What year was that?
2012, I think.
Okay.
I think it might have been January 2012. It was a part of like a 2-week road trip, East Coast.
Yeah, they won a year later, right? Something like that. No, they won 2014. Sorry.
Yeah.
Loyola Chicago won that year. Repeat. No, it was Irvine.
It was. I think that was Irvine. I think that was Irvine's year. Yeah, because we didn't win. We also couldn't even go to the playoffs. We were still in that transition period. But yeah, going to Penn State was a lot of fun. Being at State College. I think I took a picture with the Joe Paterno statue right before they took it down.
Yeah, which they shouldn't have.
I wasn't overly excited about that. No, but yeah, being there, that gymnasium was massive. It was nice. It was snowing. I hadn't been in snow too often, so that was sweet. And then going to BYU. I think I went to BYU 2 or 3 times while I was at CBU, and playing in their gym is sweet. Playing in Utah at Provo is always a lot of fun.
Utah?
Yeah.
Okay. Penn State. Sure. Nice.
Yeah, those are my favorites.
I've been there once.
Yeah.
Because Penn State has a bunch of different campuses, but I wanted to go on that one. Yeah. Penn State Altoona, and that. They actually have 3 teams. They have 2 Division III teams, and then they have the one female and male team run by Russ Rose and this and that. Yeah. But that's cool, man.
No,
I'm surprised you guys weren't grandfathered in. Men's volleyball in this NCAA was the one sport in NCAA that was allowed to postseason participation. They didn't have to go through probationary period. So that was weird.
They made it pretty clear. Maybe, I don't know, maybe because we didn't go directly into Division I. Okay. But we were in NAIA into D2, and we had to do the probation period. So I think the first year I wasn't there. I think I got there in the second year, and that was the year I actually ended up getting injured. And then the last year, like we were eligible, but we weren't good enough.
All right.
So yeah, we had to wait, which was not fun.
It's never freaking
like
fun.
Great, sweet.
I had like a whole bunch of crazy questions that I don't know, it's just pretty going. What other sport do you like besides volleyball? Spectator. Let's start with spectator sport. What do you like to watch?
Big basketball fan. So
it's a good time.
Yeah,
to be back.
I've been an NBA fan and an NFL fan for a long time. NFL is a little harder for me to keep up with, just because
weekend tournaments.
Well, no, it's more players, more injuries, more movement in and out of the league.
Right.
But NBA, usually guys stick around longer. You can see their faces. So I'm a big NBA fan. Fantasy, like that's like kind of my sports to watch.
It's a nice boom period for the NBA though, right? I mean, some of these guys switching certain teams. Kawhi with Toronto was pretty cool. LeBron coming to LA. I'm a Knicks fan, so you can feel pity for me later because we're not doing pity right now. I'm about to turn him. I'm really about to turn him my card, dude. No, I mean,
it's been a long time for you guys, so I can understand that.
Well, that was the last boom period for me with the NBA. I mean, you got like 2 or 3 boom periods. You got the period with like Shaq and Kobe that I thought was competitive, because Iverson was at the competing at the same time. And that boom period finished when Detroit was coached by Larry Brown, got a whole bunch of freaking journeymen to win a title. But before that, you're talking the Knicks, the Bruiser Knicks, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Hubert Davis, Doc
Anthony
Rivers,
Mason.
all of these, Greg Anthony. These guys, teams like that, and Detroit before them, the Pistons, were the reason why the flagrant foul was invented. It was invented in 1990 or 91 because people were like, wait, I just get a foul for this?
Yeah, people were clotheslining in the lane. Like people could do whatever they wanted, which is why there's so much fighting.
Yeah, because if a touch foul, if a parking ticket is the same penalty as murder, I could think of a bunch of people I'd like to kill.
Exactly, I could do the same thing. It doesn't matter. So I actually didn't know that was when they instituted the flagrant foul, but I could see why. I look at the video back in the day, I'm like, it was a rugged league.
Yeah, Bill Lambier was the worst. Big old white dude, baby fat white dude. You had guys like that aren't even violent people, like that are soft-spoken, like you're soft-spoken or just chill. And you got guys, the media trying to talk to that guy, and he's like, I hate him and I kill him. You have a guy talking about Lambier saying, I hate him and I kill him.
It's pretty bad.
Bird was like that a little bit because everyone has Bird like this really nice guy. He is the worst trash talker. Dude.
Bird was a grinder on the court.
Yeah, and he talked to you while he's, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna shoot it in your face. This and that.
I'm gonna hit it.
He was so obnoxious. Julius Erving, who's the most passive dude, reputatively punched him in the face. Dr. J punched him in the face.
You've got to be the most annoying person. Yes.
If Julius is mad at you, you effed up.
Oh, for sure. For sure. There's some people who are just so laid back, and it's like, man. I mean, enough is enough. You know how I go.
Cool. Off the wall question. Do you own a do you shoot a weapon, or do you own a weapon?
No, not at all.
I don't even know where that came from. I asked Jeff that. Samuel, because I had Jeff Samuels on the show. And he's like, yeah, because he spent a lot of time in Texas and this and that. And I think one of his biggest sponsors that helps him finance his trips and stuff like that is from Texas. So he was there all the time.
I think I may have shot a weapon before, but I don't remember. It was probably a lot younger, but no, we don't really.
He's like, dude, where do I live, Jake? I shoot a weapon.
To do that here. I was like, I don't even know where to go where I would be able to just do that.
There's a reason that's as people do it for fun or recreation, and there's people like Miranda you just don't give a gun to because she's a prisoner of the moment.
LAX shooting range, Torrance shooting range.
Why do you know that?
Yeah.
You should name like 2 off the top of the head.
See them eyes? Rob's in trouble, right? Do you know what those eyes say right now? If you mess with me, I'm gonna kill you, her, and the dog. Those eyes are so bad that makes the dog say, "Yo, I ain't got nothing to do with this."
I'm not involved here.
Yeah, I gotta stop arguing.
We know what we're getting from you, Brandon. We know what it is.
All right, so not a tough question, not an uncomfortable question. You're taking some time away from volleyball. Why? What's up?
Well, I've played for the past year straight, so and it's not like I was dabbling for the year. Like, I think if I remember, me and Kris started at the beginning of October.
Right.
And I moved to Redondo in the beginning of November just because it was hard to commute from Long Beach all the way down to here every morning. So playing, literally we were training a bunch and we played every tournament that there was under the sun.
Yep.
So
I was really happy to see y'all get in Manhattan.
Thank you. Yeah, I was super happy to finally.
It's match of the year too.
Yeah.
Ricardo and was it Rosie?
Rosenthal, yeah.
That was match of the year, man. That was 3 sets, and that was sorry to interrupt, but
it's all good.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I had that as my goal. I wanted to get into the AVP main draw, and I felt like we were a team that could develop into getting into the main draw first year.
Right.
So I didn't feel like it was something like, oh, in 3 years we can get into it. I'm like, I think we can do it now.
Yeah.
So that was big, and just playing in a bunch of tournaments, Vancouver, and we played in every AVP next that there was.
You did. And you made all the stops too, right? I saw you were in New York.
Yeah, we went. We went to every AVP. I think I missed Hawaii, but
that's fine.
It was amazing. And after we played in the Norseca, I was like, all right, I'm for sure going to take a break.
Hit the reset button.
Exactly. Yeah. So right now I'm resting and kind of thinking about the season, thinking about
reflecting
on the season and deciding what I want to do next. If I'm ready to come back, if I'm ready to do something else. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Sometimes doing, to quote Sanford Meisner, acting. My BFA is in acting, so I'm going to quote an acting coach. Yeah. There's no such thing as nothing. Sometimes doing absolutely nothing is something.
Yeah.
And not just a physical thing, because sometimes touring wears you out. But I'm talking about from the neck up.
Yeah.
Because when people ask me, have you seen why isn't Kris playing or whatever? I'm like, well, shit. Interesting that you're asking me because me and you are cool, right? But we didn't go fishing, right? Haven't seen you since the last fishing trip, bro.
Exactly.
We weren't like that.
But
no, I get asked these because I get fed information all the time.
Okay.
Like I'm the first one to know about new partnerships. I'm the first one to know about, like scoring freeze and who signed and who didn't. Like the whole Bill Kalinske thing. So I had a theory. My theory was sometimes from here up, when you're out there and you're hanging and banging every day and you're traveling this and that, it's mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
Physically, you could have went a little bit more until you can't, which is not smart either.
Yeah.
But I said the dude from the neck up is just is like it's like no, I'm good right now. I want to do this and maybe come back at that because there is this heightened level of the work you put in, and sometimes it's disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. So something breaks through.
Yeah. And
then when it does break through, you're exhausted. And then when it doesn't break through, you're even more exhausted.
Yeah.
You're like, this is dude. This is exhausting.
It was that kind of season. It was a really interesting season because we were a team that nobody knew about, and we got on the sand, and people were like, "Who are you guys? And why are you guys playing good so early?" And we made a lot of finals, and that was a lot of fun. And it was just like it's tough to not be able to break through in those finals. We made a lot of finals, took a lot of second place, third place, fifth place.
The Labor Day one too? You were in the finals on that one? Was that Hawk Hatcher or something like that?
Are you talking about the Cal Cup, the CBVA in Hermosa?
Yeah.
Yeah, we took second place in that one, lost close one, a Hawk Catcher, and I think it was Timmy Brewster.
Yeah.
And I mean,
imagine you can win.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe in your heart of hearts should have won. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to read your mind, but I'm certainly not trying to put words in your mouth, start shit. But I think probably you think you should have won that. I'm gonna put it like it is.
There's a lot of feelings that we could have won a lot of finals that we were in, and I mean, I think we were in like 5-6 finals in a lot of different kinds of tournaments, and it's figuring out what we need to do to break through in that one. And also it's like you're in year one of doing this, of learning how to do everything. And
well, listen, we had a conversation about loyalty, about because partner switches out here, particularly in this region, are changed as much as you change your underwear. So
they change more.
It changes.
Yeah, they change.
Even more
the
so,
partner changes are definitely way more than that.
Yeah, because you're right on the beach. We ain't wearing drawers no more, right? It's just board shorts. Miranda. Almost made me forget what I was gonna say, but I like the loyalty. I like that y'all were ride and die, and you had this commitment, because I think in order to have that level of success, if you look at the top 5 teams, I mean, Casey Patterson being the exception, he's changing a lot of partners, but Phil and Nick enjoy that long-term success. Trevor and Try know each other to do that. And I think in order for American volleyball to get better, I think some of these marriages of convenience, some of these marriages of convenience, are necessary. Like in the other countries, you don't even get to pick your partner. The federation picks your partner. That's what
I heard.
And sometimes, I mean, it's crazy, but guess what? It's just like arranged marriages. They work.
It's out of your control. I mean, we came into it that way. We decided that we were going to play with each other through the entire year without question. We decided we were going to play with each other regardless. So for me, I wasn't thinking about, I need to switch and I need to do this and that. I made a decision. We were also progressing. Obviously, we progressed differently, but we were training together. So I think that there was some continuity there. We were able to figure things out, and I wasn't thinking about changing or anything. I was like, I made my commitment. I'm someone who usually sticks to my commitments when I make them. So it wasn't anything about switching.
I always tell people the best beach players that ever play the game are indoor players, because the training that you do for indoor is freaking grueling, and its impact on whatever. Where like Reed Pretty changed his whole training regimen because it was extremely grinding for indoor, and he always felt like, he come from practice or whatever, and they're like, you want to go out? He's like, I ain't going nowhere. And now the way he's training on the beach, he's like, I can go out. Whatever. So you and Kris, same height and level of how you train, but the training itself was different.
So I would think that definitely if you've already committed to like an indoor regimen, it would be kind of a similar transition to beach. So I feel like the beach philosophy is very laid back. So there are people who train maybe 1 or 2 days, but then another week they'll train like 4 or 5 days. And it's inconsistent. It's usually maybe based on how they feel.
Or maybe just preparing to tournament time.
Whatever that may be. Or we would train like 3 days if we had like a 2-day tournament or something like that, whatever the case. But I think it's an adjustment to being able to stay consistent. And we were consistently training about the same amount of days every week. And then if we had a tournament, we'd train maybe 1 less day. But coming over from indoor where it's very regimented, you got a coach and strength condition, everybody's like, you're out. You're practicing 5 or 6 days a week. So to bring kind of that mindset over to the beach, I think that was why we ended up playing a lot better than we probably would have if we were just like kind of, we're just going to kind of do this. You know?
Like if we look at, again, using Reed Pretty as an example, the guy, I'm a big, he's one of my favorite, I guess I bring him up because he's one of my favorite outside hitters. Top 3. I like Reed Pretty. I liked Karch Karai and Stavertly. 2 of them. They were both on the same team, in fact. So 2 of them were on the same team. Had 2-passer system, dude. Well, back then the jump serve wasn't, Brazil. Well, Brazil had a couple of guys, but they would miss a lot too. And also the top of the tape was it was a serving violation too. So it was just one of those things they could just step back and hit the top of the tape. Oh, cool, our ball. You
don't have to worry about any tape dribblers.
But but it's one of those deep teams where like Stavertly was both voted best passer. Because no one served Karch, because Karch is better. So Stavertly gets the award for it. Because that's about repetitions, aces to receptions to reception errors. That's the man. He's getting all the work. So
you can pass, man. That's everything.
Holy shit! Yeah, man. That is.
I don't.
Honestly, shoot, man.
I think I told you that before, though. I felt like indoor passing was king. Like if you can pass, you can beat a lot of teams that you probably shouldn't beat. And I think on the beach, it's transition setting. If you can transition set, you can beat a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, indoor is target specific. We talked about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's a timing play. You have to go to a particular target where this guy's running the one. Maybe you're running the shotgun or just like a 31 back real quick or whatever. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I co-sign on that. But hey, your passing got good. Your passes. Listen, if you're in these situations where it's the semis and the finals and it's you winning and it's you losing, that's to me that's a win, because that means where you were, what your goals were.
Yeah.
Even the failed goals, you're in this category of close. All right, close enough.
Yeah.
Didn't do it, but going back at it.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
I definitely got to a lot of places I wasn't necessarily expecting to be, but. Yeah. If we're talking about sheer focus, I'm mostly focused on passing.
Yep.
If I'm doing any kind of training, it's reception, because I think being able to pass the ball in the same spot over and over again, you're talking about setting yourself up for high side out.
And when you get there, guess what? Then at some point you're gonna have to be the best setter. Mm-hmm. Right?
Hand seam.
They ain't serving. I'm like, yo, by the way, they got a cave troll on the other side of the net. I'm not serving that guy. How good can he, how well does he set?
Yeah.
Or how well does your partner option you, and this and that. And
exactly.
Again, shit, we close up shop there. I really love the work. Really love the work you put in. And Pompilo and Arturo asked me to ask you about that. But I said, I know why. I didn't know for a fact, but I said, I know why he's not playing.
Yeah.
If any of these guys who I feel like I'm insulting people again, but if any of these guys dare to call themselves players or say that they're a professional beach volleyball player, if half of these guys put in the work that you and Kris Austin did, one of the more highly criticized good teams I've ever seen in the AVP too, if they put in half that work, I think beach volleyball is an American collective. Body as far as increasing skill set, not just that, entertaining people to come to the matches. If people worked 3/4 as hard as the two of you do, man, it would be up. I wouldn't miss one for the world, because some of them I'll miss because I watch some matches now, and I've been doing this for a long time, Kris. I don't I had a player that tells me he didn't want me to tape his games.
Why?
Because he thought I was giving away scouting tips to people who were playing him. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'll do what you want. I don't care about that. But obviously you don't want to be in every major sport, football, basketball. Everyone has video on everybody. Everybody has video on everybody. Yeah, do you know what happens when you watch two volleyball teams play each other that didn't have video on each other? It is 3/4 of the game. Almost the whole first set is a feeling out process. It is fucking painful to watch. I'm like, I'm leaving. And would I know if the match got good? No, because I'm
out of here.
I'm out, right? There's only 24 hours in the day, dude. Or I'm on to the next match. Yeah. So I would like people to be a little less lazy as far as the time in the video room. Share video, whoever you're playing, everybody share video. So now from play one, it's tactical, and people who don't know the sport are trying to figure out what's going on. And people that don't know the sport are like, okay, I see what he's doing. I get it. I don't even know the rules, but I get what he's trying to do.
It's the mindset, though.
Yeah. It's just,
first of all, everybody's going to have video on everybody. That's just how it works. But once again, you can't discount the actual playing part. It's not what you know, it's what you can stop.
Right.
Because I've had players come up to me and they're like, oh yeah, such and such said that you usually hit the ball here or you usually hit the ball there. I'm like, that's fine.
That's what's open.
But I'm like, but when you play against me, you have to be able to stop it. Can you actually stop what I'm going to do in my offense? And you're forgetting that I still have eyes, so I can see vision. When you're trying to take a certain spot, I can hit somewhere else. So it's
a dimension they have to respect.
Exactly. So it's you can have video, but people make adjustments, and it's not what you know, it's what you can stop.
Agreed.
So
look no further than Greg Faulkner. I claim myself as a professional beach practice player.
No, I'm definitely with that. Greg has come out a lot of times for us and helped us improve a lot in our practices. So
now that's a guy. Talk about fishing, the whole fishing buddies thing.
Yeah,
that's a brother from another mother.
He's a guy.
That's my dude right there.
He's a guy. I met him, I think, when I first got to CBU and we played against each other. And when he was with Northridge at the time, he's always been the coolest guy, without question.
I forgot to record on that. I could just rip the Facebook copy. That's a podcast anyway, a sound anyway, but I like to get a clean copy
for sure
of this. And no, but Greg, I'll give you another example. What you just said, Greg is his wrist away on the one is highly scouted out. But like you said, at the same time, ain't nobody stopping it.
No,
yeah, but it's a dimension they have to respect.
Yeah, when we played against each other in college, I wasn't able to stop it too often. As he knows, we played against each other, and it was tough to stop. Everybody knew that he was hitting wrist away, but can you stop it? He's hitting it at a high point. He's hitting it really sharp. Like, can you stop it?
No.
So it's not what you know. It's what you can stop.
Rhetorical question. Really freaking hard to stop. Dude. Yeah, man. He is. Yeah, he's awesome.
He's the guy.
And my bro, so are you. We're past an hour.
All right. I didn't even know. That was quick.
Well, that's because we're talking fun stuff. I mean, at some point, I'm a straight up Joe Rogan this. We maybe reach 2, but I'm paying this one about an hour. So she like, take your time.
I'll stay as long as you want.
We listen. One of the podcasts we were talking about Area 51, and I was just like, Jeff Samuels,
really,
and Doug Namashenta, who's like Ricardo's coach.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those two together. Weren't those two together ridiculous?
Yes.
Oh, talking about John Jones, MMA fighter John Jones getting in trouble for like sexual assault, and
Wow, that's not surprising.
And we talk about George Masvidal, the fighter that he fought Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
People don't know that like one of his previous fights, he knocked out Darren Till in England.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's doing an interview, this guy keeps walking by a fighter saying, fight me next, and chatting with him. So the whole time he's doing an interview, you can see him do this, like looking.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything back.
Mm.
Guy comes the second time, he's just like, okay, I see you, or whatever. And then the third time, he just leaves the set.
Yeah.
And then in the back, he's just like, pop, pop, pop.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So the next interview, he's like, what happened there? He's like, I try to leave him alone, but he says, and then so people think it's okay, to curse you out and talk about your family and all that stuff. And he says, but every now and then they run into someone who's like a real G that makes them think hard about doing that again. Yeah. And he says, so I gave him a 3-piece in the soda. Mm-hmm. And so everybody look up. No, pull up 3-piece in the soda. Pull up 3-piece in the soda. It is
a 3-piece wing with no fries.
Yes. So I figured out what it was. It was basically a 1-2. Yeah. And then when he kind of like comes around, the pop. Third one.
Yeah,
so it's pop.
And you gave him the soda. I gave him a 3-piece and a soda.
Yes.
I like that.
Miranda, definitely look that up. Just put 3-piece in the soda. The first thing that should pop up on YouTube is Jorge Masvidal. Oh. But I wanted to show you the interview because I guess you could just double click out or whatever.
Yeah, this one?
Yeah. Look behind you for a second. There it is. That's it. That's the interview.
He walked into that arena with a lot of
you can see it from here.
He walked out with silence. Right, what does it feel like to silence the Ocean
she's
Arena?
Doing an interview. And
anybody heard my
the first time he looks, he's just like,
I live for that. And that's to take the breath out of everybody so you can hear pin drops. You can feel that electricity when you're coming in there.
You'll see him.
And it's amazing.
I really
looked over. It's
a drug that
and then there's
most
a third
people
time.
Haven't ever tasted. Man's tried to duplicate it, but they can't find the recipe for it, So I'm glad I got the recipe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that opening sequence.
Maybe not. If you shot, hey, come over here.
Oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah. He goes with his hands behind his back. And then just pop.
Oh. Wow. You talk about getting hit.
He got pieced up, dude. So he won twice that night. He knocked out 2 English guys.
He got 2 knockouts.
There it is. Darren, he's a 3-piece in the soda.
Hey, I mean, people think they can say whatever they want.
That's not nice. And he said that he beat the same way when Khabib beat Conor. Yeah. Oh, it's okay to to insult people's wife or their religion, and this and that, because it's cool to like promote a fight to get people to I want to see him get knocked out for saying that. But every now and then, you mess with someone where like, yo, that whole free speech thing is now, I'm from Dagestan, Russia. Yeah. You can't just say what you want. And even in America, all right, free speech protects you from government prosecution. It doesn't protect you from other free speech. No. Or maybe getting pieced up by one of these dudes that don't play that. Some people in your life, you met people that don't play that. I'm from Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn. I met plenty of people that don't play that.
I got people in my family who don't do it. You can't. I mean, you can't be too loose. Like you gotta. It's all about paying attention to what comes out of your mouth. So I'm usually probably looking to say less.
That's why do you think you get in the least trouble? You're like one of the more polite people everyone ever met. You know, me, I ask a question with this accent and everybody thinks I'm saying something. Yeah. I'm like, let me ask you something. Like we had a scrimmage, evolution scrimmage. Someone we got called over the net and I said, let me ask you something. How you want my blocker to? How do you expect my blocker to play that?
Yeah.
So to like play the ball. Yeah. You just wait till it hits the top of the tape, trickle block where it goes into the dig. So I just asked the question, how do we expect the block to play that? And they got offended because the way I asked it sounded like I was being confrontational. But no, it's a scrimmage. And the guy who's reffing is the coach of the 18. So from one coach to another, you know, how would you play that?
Yeah.
How's someone who believes that he's protecting his territory, and you know this more than anybody as a middle, who's just protecting his territory, that divides the final referee's line from calling back row attack to set interference or whatever. You should be allowed to protect you. You
should be able to say something.
So I'm always going to ask the ref, how would you, okay, you called over the net. How was he supposed to play that? Got a big argument over that last night.
There's always something going on between the coaches, the players, the refs. That's just how these sports are built.
Yeah,
it's a tough thing.
Yeah. Oh man, and with that said, oh my God, we closing up shop finally. I call it the long kiss goodnight, man. That's a long goodbye, man. KJ,
Thank you for having
always,
me.
Man.
Always.
For Miranda, who's teching this show, for Kris,
Thanks
KJ Johnson, I'm Jason DeVias. This is episode 12. Love all of yous.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Now I gotta protect because I didn't press record. I got.